Welcome back, fight fans. You know, we've been missing you. It's been a long time. We haven't had an Excuse the Savvy for a while, and we're back. We got a real good episode of Savvy tonight. Excuse the Savvy, that is. I just want to introduce everybody more formally. I got my boy Rafi Perez to the left, Kyle Kadsman's over here, Ari Weiss if you didn't know. And we got a little fella by the name of Garrett the Gigolo Lamb. That's his new nickname, by the way. Fitting. He's our cameraman light guy. We love his sleaze. So tonight, this is what we're gonna do. Excuse the Savvy. We talk about all the big things going on in the MMA world. So tonight we're gonna be talking about. We're gonna give a shout out to our viewers. We're gonna do a UFC 123 recap. We're going to talk about the Chael Sonnen doping situation, Tough 12 finale, and the Strikeforce Henderson babalu.
A lot of news.
All right, so
a lot of action. Let's
start off tonight with just we didn't have a dance intro. I was supposed to have a dance intro with a few mommies. It was going to be real nice. So we're going to do we have a little different intro tonight. We're going to talk about why.
Dance.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to see some moves?
Now we got to have the honeys.
Okay, yeah. All right.
So we're going to do a little intro of why we love MMA. So we all grew up in the 80s, except like this one, kind of, the prick over here.
This guy.
And so we were raised on 80s action movies. Action movies suck today. Give me the 80s, give me Bloodsport, give me Kickboxer. So we're raised on tournament fighting movies. We love this, okay? Even Dies Hard. Good flick. So, so listen, also, we're pro wrestling fans. I grew up a Hulkamaniac. This guy's a warrior D-bag.
Ultimate warrior.
And don't forget Bret the Hitman Hart. I want to give out a little shout out to Bret the Hitman Hart.
I know you're watching. Fly Snook.
I mean, come on. It's just really just Hulkamania. Let's move on. Then, of course, there was boxing. I was a boxing historian. I used to watch Tyson, Holyfield, Ali, all the greats.
All the Sugar Rays.
Yeah, all the Sugar Ray Leonard, all the other bitch. Who was it?
Roberto Duran, come on.
Classy guy, Roberto Duran. So MMA to us is like all these things that we've been living for our whole lives. It's come to fruition. All the top martial artists and wrestlers come together and they fight to see who's #1, and that's why we loves it. Okay, it proves that and one thing, Shaolin monks, all this shit about martial arts, Come fight, please.
Get in the cage.
Get in the cage if you're that good and you can knock somebody out with one kick. Let's see it. Let's see when a 250-pound wrestler gets his hand on you. Let's see you get that kick in. Okay, Shaolin monk? I want you to come. I believe in you. Please come. Okay? I'm sick of these guys.
You Shaolin monk watching.
All right.
Come on down.
So let's let's move on. Shout out to our viewers. This is what we need to get more comments on the site. We have over 2,000 comments in like a 2-week span. We're happy.
2,000 hits, not comments.
Hits.
Gigolo comes through.
The Gigolo comes through.
Clarify.
So, you know, we're going to shout out to a few viewers tonight.
Yep.
My brother, Kiri, keep it up. You got mad friends out there. We need to get serious and get this site going. Matt LePan, he was a punk that I grew up with. He was one of the first person to comment, and guess what, baby? Rampage won that fight. Okay, I remember what you said about Machida. So we'll talk about that later, actually. Now, also, before we move on, let's talk about your schmuck that talks about the boxing.
Ray De Vega, thank you for the comments. We made a great conversation. I think we can spur off of that. Go on. Cameron Dillard, also, you put the first comment on that article. It was a conversation about why boxing sucked and why MMA was taking over. They didn't agree with me, those two good fellas. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one.
Any last thoughts about this boxing MMA controversy?
I don't think it's a controversy. I mean, I agree with, you know, what a lot of people say, that they're two completely different sports, but, you know, like watching boxing, you know, it's like, you know, going outside wearing a shirt and no pants. It's incomplete.
Exactly.
So, end the story for me.
It's finished. You give me a heavyweight champ, maybe we can talk later. Okay, and one last shout out to our savvy correspondent, Ace Marrero. Nice article, good penmanship, bad picks. 6 and 4 A's. 6 and 4 A's. Like this prick over here, 9 and 1.
6 and 4, we're still winners.
We're still winners. All right, so let's get into MMA news. Okay, I don't even want to talk about this card, but you know, it's Excuse the Savvy. We have to. Hughes Penn 3. Woo. You know,
boy did great, right?
I think this was I think this was something that was terrible for MMA. I don't mind that he lost, but I wanted a long battle. This is Hughes Penn 3. There's so much history here, and to see him go out so early, at least at least battle him for a few rounds, Matt, then get knocked out later. I'm just sad.
Maybe if this was the Hughes of old, but this is not the Hughes of old, this is the old Hughes. And you had to expect this coming. When BJ Penn left that weight division, it wasn't because he was falling off, it wasn't because he needed to go beat up the littler guys. There was one guy keeping him out of that division, and it was George St. Pierre. That's the only guy that
and Hughes. Hughes took him in that second round. Don't forget that.
Hughes took him in that second round, but this is a new BJ Penn. This is a Penn, maybe in his prime. Hughes is certainly not in his prime. It's time to retire, sit on the leather couch. Rafi,
retirement. I mean, like, you know, I think this fight clearly showed that BJ Penn is not going anywhere. He had a really bad matchup against Frankie Edgar, but Matt Hughes just did not look good, and it's time to hang him up.
All right, let's move on from this card. One last little talk about Rampage Machida. Yeah, Rampage Machida, bad decision. You know, Machida's got to start pushing the action. Rampage maybe squeaked out 1 and 2. Machida won 3 handily. They got the half-point system is coming. If you guys were reading on the article, they're showing it at amateurs. Joe Rogan likes it. Maybe in the next year we'll get the half-point system. I love it. Or our own special savvy system, where the person who wins the fight wins the trophy.
You know, but Machida can't even complain about that decision anyways, because that was nothing compared to Machida Shogun 1. That was nothing. So if you want to complain, stop running backwards, run forwards, throw some punches, and maybe you won't have to let the judges, who we already know are making terrible decisions, decide your fight. That's all it comes down to. Don't complain. Get him in the next one.
I do like that. I do like that.
Throw some punches, maybe.
Throw some punches, a kick even.
It's his style. Oh, you guys are hating on his style. The man is a counter puncher.
If Machida fought Machida, wow, what a terrible fight that would be. What a horrible fight that would be.
And they would get a suntan off the lights.
All right, so let's move on. Chael Sonnen, doping scandal. He's claiming, viewers, that it was just a testosterone he was taking. It was medically sound. He even supposedly disclosed this information to the board. Now they're kind of changing on. They cut from a year to 6 months. Do you feel, was he cheating? You know,
we don't know the full story. We're probably not ever going to get the full story. They still had him suspended for 6 months. I think that's all we need to know. Something was going on. Something was funky. You know, when you have extra testosterone. I mean, it certainly explained why he was able to hold Anderson down for 5 rounds. Let's see how he does when he comes back and doesn't have all the juice on his side. That'll be very telling.
Before you go, Rafi, I do gotta say one things to you, Chael Sonnen. You diss my boy Lance. You said he was a cheat. He didn't deserve those bike trophies.
Mr. Armstrong?
Bulls crap.
Wow.
Yeah, you didn't hear that? He called him out.
Yeah.
Wow. And then he gets caught. So even though he might be innocent, I always say sportsmen are innocent. You know this. Chael, you're innocent. But last thought on that. We'll move on.
All I gotta say about this is I didn't have any opinion on this until I saw the hearing last weekend. Number one, he hired the #1 lawyer for doping scandals. Number 2, his levels were twice the normal amounts for someone. Number 3, he didn't go through all the proper channels to disclose this. Number 4, he says his argument was that he didn't go through puberty. What? Wow. I'm sorry. I mean, you know, I have a lot of respect for the guy as a fighter, but things are just not adding up.
You're not that manly.
And for a man that came out and, you know, criticized, you know, Armstrong, I think, you know, it's just it's a justice.
You don't ever take my boy Lance and talk about him like that, or we're gonna have beefs in the parking lots. Okay, let's move on. Tough 12 finale. Woo! You know, I called every fight, and then all of a sudden, Brookins ruins my night. Michael, you almost had him in the first round. It was looking so beautiful, those power shots. Brookins, I know both you took them.
Yep.
Let's hear your bull crap. Let's hear your Brookins bull crap.
You know, Brookins, you know, you guys, I made a little article on him on the site, so check it out. All I really want to say about Tough 12 is that Nan fan Lerner Garcia fight. If you're a fan of MMA, please write Kaiser. In Vegas, they need to change the way the judges.
Good decision. Good decision, by the way.
Bad decision.
If you're blind, is a good decision. Yes.
Unfortunately, that's gonna scar the whole night. That was the story of the night. Was that horrible decision? It stole the limelight away from Brookings, even though Brookings put on a wonderful display, especially in the second and third rounds. Yeah.
All right. Final thing. Strikeforce Henderson Babalu. Strikeforce stepped up.
Oh,
I don't believe it. They had 5 fights, and maybe it was just we're KO happy right now, but there were great fights. Lawler reasserted himself. Great finish.
Yeah.
Daly, he's a beast. He might take out Diaz. And Henderson brought himself back, and I think he's going to beat Fei Zhao, or maybe even Musasi. Yeah. How do you feel about this card? It was great.
I think, Matt Lindland, you need to retire. No one wants to see you die in the ring. When he fought Vitor Belfort and was twitching on the ground for like 5 minutes, I thought, please, leave now. You've done great things for the sport. Now he has this one. I mean, somebody's got to call it quits. If he's not going to walk away, somebody lock the cage. Don't let this guy in. Beyond that, great knockouts, great night of fights. Dan Henderson, you know, he had that bad fight last time, but immediately reasserted himself back into the weight class. Go ahead, Rafi.
Henderson should stay at 205. It's obvious. Great card from top to bottom. I was really proud of Strikeforce. They really needed this to end up the year. They've had a lot of drama, a lot of problems. So it was good to see the #2 promotion to come out and put on a good show. I was happy for those guys. They deserve it.
Alright folks, so there you have it. That was our episode of Excuse the Savvy. Come back because there's going to be our top show next week. We're going to have some dancing girls. We'll see you. UFC 124 this weekend. We like you. I'm not even going to call you obscenities. Good night, folks. We loves yous.